Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Va salute and welcome to the weekend. Yes, the weekend starts at midday on Friday because let's face it, the rest of the day you're just counting down the hours till you can clock out. Absolutely, as Lynn Green says, let's do this. Welcome, Lynn Green. Looking so forward to this. This is our fun day. This is our kick off the shoes day. Absolutely fired up about this weekend. It's going to be wonderful. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are all looking forward to your weekend and want to know what you all are going to be sipping on. I think if you guys saw the title, you probably know exactly what kind of a day today is.
Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken! The Kraken!
Why is the rum always gone?
That's because it can get pretty expensive, especially when you go through it quickly. Remember, you can always buy me a drink, link in the description below, if you want to make sure that the rum never runs out. But that probably means that despite the fact that tomorrow I have to get up early and start doing things productive, it's going to be rough because I usually start out. I don't normally have a hangover, ever. I don't usually get hungover. I get a little bit of a headache when I've been drinking rum. So that's the downside. But the upside is it's so yummy. It really, really is. So let's do this. Like Lynn says, do all the clicky things, please. Like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member, all of those sorts of things. Big Al Presents says, Happy Friday, Liquid Lunchers. Here's a great show, Troy. Rum it up. Yes. Oh, have a great show. Yes, thank you so much. Paul, here I are. What a weekend this has been, or what a week this has been. Weekends are for the week. Yep, absolutely. Welcome, welcome. Netter says, hello, love of my life, because she is the love of mine. Thank you so much for being here, my dear. Usually you're not supposed to have meetings on Fridays. That doesn't always pan out, but I appreciate it when you can be here. She says, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, gift a membership, do all those things. Please, it really does help. Are you like, at this point, are you constantly grocery shopping, Penny? If you are, that's fine. I mean, it's if that's what you do or that's how you do it. Actually, let me be fair here. I'm not really making fun, because I've been thinking, Netter and I have a tendency to do our grocery shopping, our serious grocery shopping, like once a month. And we stock up, and it is laborious. We end up with an overflowing cart. Our freezer's filled by the end of it, trying to Tetris stuff in. And the produce that we get, it only lasts for the first week, and then it's, then we go 3 weeks without fresh produce. It would be so much better if we started shopping more regularly for fresh products and use them immediately. And when you need more, you go out and get them instead of storing, right? Storing is what you do for, when supply lines are down or bad storms or emergency or, riding out the fallout or something like that. That's what storage is for. It starts for me after this time on Thursday. There you go. See? So the weekend eve for us is the weekend for you. And Snort a Poop is Q Burr, my absolute favorite polar bear. Welcome. Haru, humans and other critters. Greetings to you, my friends. Greetings. Good to see you, my friend. You guys saying hi to each other, which I always encourage and appreciate. Janet from another planet, it's been a minute, haven't seen you in a while, good to see you. She says hello to everyone. Definitely a great channel to check out. She is a very sharp cookie who understands what's going on around us, and I mean to some degree in the cultural sphere, but especially in the political sphere. She's got her finger on the pulse of the world events. And stuff closer to home too. Definitely should be checking her out. I keep saying that I'm not a very political channel, and yet every now and again I'll go off on a rant, and I really should start thinking about collaborating with other users to start talking about some of the events that are going on. Was it Madison who said, "We do not go abroad searching for monsters to destroy"? Know your history and understand what our founding fathers intended before you start believing the rhetoric of today. Today's going to be a good day. My cousin's getting married this afternoon. Well, salute to Cousin Proctor. So glad to hear that. And let's see here. Tim Hayes. Wow, this is like old home week. So good to see all of you guys. Hail to you as well, Tim Hayes. Good to see you. Good to see you. Like, share, and subscribe, and become a member. Or I will release the flying targs when targs fly. Like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member. And if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not make it a gifted membership to grow our family? Welcome, Nate. Good to see you, my friend. I shop different stores to get sale prices. That's wise too. That is wise too. There are certain deals that you can get during the week that you can't get on the weekend. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for. I went shopping last Wednesday, not 2 days ago, but a week ago in 2 days, because there were just some things we needed. And the store that we shop at has a little it's like part of the deli where you can get like a sandwich and sushi and stuff like that and sit down right there or take it to go. And I went and they had all their sushi, their pre-done sushi was 50% off. I was able to get an $11 shrimp sushi, all shrimp sushi, for $5. I was like, damn, so don't get there very often on Wednesdays, but it was a nice treat to see that one time. Let's see here. This is the second wedding of a cousin. It's I'm going to this year. Well, blessings to your family. That is a wonderful thing. Loving to see the family grow. Still in prepping mode, Troy. I keep a certain level of weekly grab those other things like fresh produce, etc. Yeah. So you shop in mind. You shop for either the week or the next couple days or whatever, fresh foods and healthy foods. And then maybe grab, if your freezer's already filled, start looking for dry goods, right? Those things that literally will keep forever as long as you keep them in a cool, dry place. My house, we shop for a week at a time, but with two separate groups going at different times. Oh, that makes sense. Plus a Friday and Saturday trip for whatever we forgot or ran out of. But need for the day's meal. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good idea. Let's see here. Everyone has to rant on occasion. I know. Unfortunately, what it tends to do is it tends to drive away a certain subset of your viewership. How's it going? It's been challenging as far as the channel goes. A lot of contraction at the beginning of this year. My wife and my sister are queen bargain shoppers. You can give these women $200 and they will go into multiple grocery stores, come back with $300 worth of groceries and $150 in change. Nice. But as long as they're not skimping on, healthy over convenience or cheap, because sometimes you got to spend a little bit more to get the good foods. You can't put a price on health. You just can't. I go to Jewel late at night because that's when they mark down. Chad jumped on me. Mark down meats that are about to expire. I usually 30 to 50 by 30 to 50% off. It goes right into the freezer. That makes sense. Or you cook it up right away. Rule of thumb: keep at least 3 months worth of canned and dry foods on hand and bottled water just in case. Always be prepared. This also means meds and first aid supplies and fuel. Maybe I've been playing too much Fallout, but I think I probably need enough dry goods and clean water and meds for probably the rest of my life, just in case something big happens. Just saying. I frequently rant about seas and politics. I understand. I miss doing grocery shopping on third shift. That's got to be a very different kind of experience. Oh, seals and politics. That makes more sense. Seals. Yes, absolutely. They pretend they're all cute and cuddly, but they're just angry little mongrels. I tell you. Anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. So obviously, I'm not going to go too much into specifically the history of rum. We've talked about rum here, the history of how it's made, where it came from, and its role in American history. Now we're going to take a little bit of a tangent on that, and we're going to look at rum specifically as tied to the legendary, symbolism of the classic pirate. Let's take a look at that right now. Let me share my screen with you. Why did pirates drink rum? Well, because it's yummy. Well, that would be too short of an answer. Sorry, I can't stay. Got to get back to work. You don't have to pay $2 to get out of here. You can always come back and check it out later, and I hope to see you tonight at Last Call. But thank you nonetheless. I appreciate that. So let's look at this. Why did pirates drink rum? Can I zoom in a bit, make this a little bit bigger? Oh, yeah, I can read this now. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, from Jack Sparrow to Calico Jack. We often associate pirates with black flags, treasure, and lots of rum. But why did pirates drink rum in the first place? The answer might surprise you. Keep reading to discover some interesting pirate facts and why rum, often the drink of choice on the high seas. Because the water could kill you, says Snortopoopa Scuba. Yes, absolutely. Be very careful. That is dangerous stuff. Dihydrogen monoxide. You could drown in it. It can poison you. Makes your skin all wrinkly. Never touch this stuff myself. Never touch this stuff. Water didn't stay fresh long. Fresh water was extremely difficult to keep clean during long voyages at sea. Water was stored in barrels and quickly became stagnant and unsafe to drink. However, adding rum to the water made it safe to drink. In fact, rum played a big part in the history of the British Royal Navy. Sailors received a daily ration of mixed rum, also called tot. We talked about tot day about a month or two ago and the history of that. These tots were also used to help keep up morale. So how does this relate to pirates and rum? It also played a part in the history of pirates. Pirates, I just went, there we go. Pirates would ration out the clean water to stay hydrated and mix with the rum. It was the drink of choice, and it flowed freely on pirate ships, hence the stories and sea shanties about drunkenness. You know what? I also wanted to go, let's go back a second. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, right? Where does that phrase come from? It's very common. The phrase yo ho ho and a bottle of rum comes from the 1883 adventure novel Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. It is part of a fictional sea shanty titled Dead Man's Chest, sung by the character Billy Bones, with the full famous version being 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of drum. Drink and the devil had done for the rest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. This was, of course, more popularized by the Disney film of the same name. And as a child, I had the record book of Treasure Island by, the Disney film, which, of course, included that song. So, besides, fish do their business in the water. So do polar bears, for that matter. Oh yeah, you were already ahead of me. Welcome to Booger. Good to see you, my friend. Rum was also more common than whiskey due to sugarcane growing in the islands as opposed to corn, wheat, barley, and other grains used for whiskey. Yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit when we got into the overall history of rum and its role in the trade of the early United States. So let's get back into it. Pirates would ration. Yeah, right. Rum was plentiful. And I went too high. There we go. Most of the world's rum comes from the Caribbean, Jamaica, and other areas in the Caribbean where the perfect place to grow, which is the perfect place to grow sugarcane. Rum, which was distilled from sugar, became a primary export. As a result, many of the ships on the waters that pirates attacked were filled with it. Crews tended to drink much of the liquid loot they found. However, rum was also used as a currency and often traded for goods. I don't think we're really. I've said this. I haven't seen anything here talking about it. It tastes good. It is sweet. It is made from sugar. It is pretty yummy. It goes down smooth. You get drunk very, very easily. It doesn't burn like whiskey. Whiskey you have to sip a little bit at a time, and it kind of burns your chest a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, it kept the crew happy. That's for darn sure. Long journeys at sea take a toll on somebody, especially during the golden age of piracy. Life aboard a ship was full of hazards, such as nasty diseases and possibly the possibility of starvation, dehydration, and dangerous weather. It could also get boring after months of the same small vessel. Captains needed to keep the crew happy, and one way to raise morale was through more rum rations. It was one way to prevent dangerous and potentially deadly mutinies. Many sailors and pirates faced the very real threat of scurvy, a painful disease that would afflict anyone that didn't get enough vitamin C. As you might imagine, it was tough to get enough vitamins in the diet so far from land. After all, that was a time when it was impossible to store vegetables for long lengths of time. Ships carried limes on board, which went remarkably well with rum and were often mixed in with the rum and water and given out as rations. This bit of lime juice helps prevent scurvy. Now, I'm not sure too much. I know that there are different kinds of limes. There's the smaller ones. There's the larger ones. They're almost like lemon size. The larger ones tend to be juicier. The smaller ones clearly not as much. And the smaller ones do tend to keep a very long time. So I'm guessing it was probably the smaller ones. Lots of rind to them. Anyway, I digress. Rum was a favorite drink for generations, but it plays a special part in the history of sailors and pirates. So why did pirates drink rum? In short, it was a valuable way to make water last longer, to keep the crew in high spirits. While you may not need to make grog or prevent scurvy, you can, and that's watered down rum, that's grog, right? To prevent scurvy, you can think of the many long years of history as you enjoy. And now we get into the little advert for this particular site. You had to expect that we were going to get to that. Let me get to your comments before I go any further with this. I am not that far from the areas that were part of the triangle trade. Yep, there you go. I'm not sure I know the melody here. It's business, nothing but business, the same thing that we're all here for. Profit, gain, call it what you will. I'm thinking about the spoils of war. If it's done right, the spoils of war. The way we fight wars these days, it's a lose-lose proposition. And people don't seem to have learned that just yet. The chest referred to a treasure chest, not the torso. Yes, true, but I'm sure that the double visual meaning certainly plays into it. It may have very well been intended to. And welcome to Corey of Wilkie's Movies and Music, who, of course, will be receiving a raid from us in just a little bit. So as soon as this stream is over, don't you mice go anywhere. I will be chauffeuring you over to Wilkie's Movies and Music, because that's what we do after Liquid Lunch on Friday. I have had rum that burns, but it wasn't the good stuff. Well, always drink the good stuff. When I say drink responsibly, at least part of what I mean is drink only the good stuff. If you are getting bottom shelf booze in a plastic bottle, just don't drink. Just don't. It's not worth it. Lime rations is why Brits are called limeys. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Let's see here. The Iranian Navy must not have rum on their ships. Oh, wait, they don't have anymore. Yeah, well, and they probably wouldn't have rum because they don't drink. Troy teaching a page from Captain Jack Sparrow and the Privateer's Survival Guide. There you go. Absolutely. Is that a thing? I'll have to look into that. That sounds interesting. And here's my partner in crime, Agent Boomer. He and I will be tonight on Last Call talking about music videos of the 80s. My three are tied together by a specific common thread. I'm not sure if Agent Boomer had a plan in mind for his, or if he just did it at random, or they were three he had wanted to talk about before and hadn't gotten around to. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think this is like the fourth or fifth time we're talking about music videos, because I want to keep the concept of music videos alive in people's minds. I don't know. I feel like the concept of music videos might actually come back in some sort of AI format. Who knows? Oh, and Boomer, I also sent you a few more AI-related articles, at least one of them sent to us by Mark Melnikoff for a future AI stream. My favorite punch recipe: 1 part sour, 2 parts sweet, 3 parts strong, and 4 parts weak. There you go. There you go. My neighbor has more boats than the Iranian Navy now. There you go. Well, just keep in mind, the Iranian Navy isn't what you have to worry about. It's their missile capabilities. They are able to reach the Gulf from the mainland, and it's not just Iran that you have to be concerned about right now in those waters. There are other people wanting to trade in the Straits, and they may decide that to do so, they might have to help their allies. I'm usually a whiskey guy, but what would you recommend for a good rum to put in the rotation? It depends. Rum, and trying to think what would be a good rum for a whiskey drinker is very difficult. That's like saying, what kind of pie do you recommend to someone who only likes cake? But what I will say is, when it comes to rum, are you looking for the sweet stuff? Are you looking for a little bit of flavor? Are you looking for something straight? I consider, I usually go for white rums if it's being mixed with something. Kind of like I use unsalted butter if I'm baking, so I can control the amount of salt that goes into something. Same thing. I don't want a spiced rum in a mixed drink. I want to control what spice and what flavors I put into the drink. So white rum for mixing if you're going to be drinking it straight. To say a spiced rum that's a whole universe of drinks. My favorite is Kraken. But if you like Captain Morgan spiced rum or someone else's spice, and they're all spiced differently, it's like, getting a cheeseburger at McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King. They're the same sandwich, very, very made very, very differently. So what would I recommend? I would recommend Kraken. It pairs well. Don't think that this is all 100% rum, right? I always mix it with like root beer. This one is mixed with root beer. Sometimes Dr. Pepper's kind of nice. I go with a golden rum if I'm having it with Coca-Cola, only because that's the first drink that I got drunk on was rum and Coke, and it was made with golden rum. So yeah, and and hot toddies. We're leaving the season for hot toddies, but if you're in the middle of winter and you got yourself a cold and you want to, kind of sweat it out and pull out some phlegm and so forth, hot toddy is a great way, and that's usually done with whiskey, but you can absolutely do that with rum. And I would recommend a golden rum for that, not a spiced rum. Again, if you're doing it for medicinal purposes, you want to control what spices you're taking in. You might even want to go heavy on a spice. You may decide to go with a heavy clove and cinnamon for a cold. Yeah. Thread. What I meant was a thread that ties the topics together. If you look at the three songs that I sent you, 3 videos, there's something very common that all 3 of them have in common. And that's why I asked if we could talk about them in that order, because I want to lead one to the next to the next. Sabaton and Lindsey Sterling still making videos. Are they good? Good. Although these are names I don't know. So it's, I'm completely out of the music loop myself. Shh. I'm on a secret break at work. Okay. Shh. We'll keep it down. Make sure you're using headphones. You can listen secretly and nobody's going to know. I won't tell your boss. My mom used to drink Myers Dark Rum. I don't know that one. I like Thomas too, but that can be hard to find. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. I just tried Dictator 12-year-old, and it was quite nice. That does sound good. It's always been a thing. Videos are shown on streaming platforms like Samsung TV, always adding videos to my music list. But I mean the kinds of music videos when MTV was big, like in the 80s. These produced videos, not just a bunch of people standing on stage singing at a concert, from different angles and, whatnot, stuff like that. I mean, like, there's a whole story there above and beyond the song. In fact, very interestingly, that's part of the thread that ties these 3 songs that I'm going to talk about tonight together. But one of them, the song, has very little to do with the story that's being portrayed in the video. And I find that very, very interesting. Sabaton makes some great videos. Okay, I'll have to look into this Sabaton, see what that's all about. I love Horde of Cons. Kids break into a museum to play Sabaton's instruments, and the music brings back several warriors. That sounds pretty cool. I'm definitely going to have to look into this thing. Okay. I guess the ocean water levels will rise a few ships this year. Yeah, well, have you ever like looked at maps of like if the polar ice caps were to completely melt, how high the water would rise? It's not quite as bad as people think. I mean, interestingly, you kind of wonder where all the water went to if there was ever a global flood, because it doesn't seem like there's enough water in the world to flood the world. Also, I Emperor and Crossing the Rubicon. Lindsay is also amazing. She does ballet and plays violin at the same time. Man, okay, maybe I've been missing something here. And those Sabaton videos are just the new album. No Bullets Fly is amazing. Okay. Kraken it is. I will have to grab one and give it a try. Start with the small one. You don't have to buy a full handle, but I think if you do, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it on its own. It tastes good on its own. But again, if you're being more social, you might mix it with a cola or a root beer. I highly recommend a root beer. In fact, here's the combination for you: Kraken rum with Muggs root beer. Muggs root beer. Even a diet Muggs is going to be really, really good in that combination. It mixes well with cream soda. Actually, I had not considered that. I have never had rum mixed with cream soda, but now that you mention it, it sounds like it would be a good combination. You're absolutely right. The Final Stand is probably my favorite of Sabaton's albums. All those heroic defenses against impossible odds. Okay, you've sold me. I will definitely be checking this stuff out. I probably would. I'll look into it. Coke came out with a cherry float flavor soda, both regular and no sugar. I got to try it. It tastes like ice cream. I'll have to look into that. I'm pretty skeptical. I'm getting more and more skeptical of flavored sodas. I used to like cherry Coke when it first came out, but even then I knew it wasn't the same as using real grenadine. So yeah. They make a lot of produced videos still, but just saying, okay, I'll take you at your word. I'll look into it. And welcome, Connie Cleary. I don't remember saying hi to you earlier in the show, so I apologize about that. I've seen maps of the world before the flood. Look at how many of our biggest cities are on coasts. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there is a wisdom to it, right? You build cities on coasts because if you're trading by ship, again, right? You know what? Let me go regular screen until we until and if we get back to the presentation stuff. So just like cities tend to be built up at crossroads, of trade routes and so forth. That's why Chicago is big, St. Louis, but when you build a harbor, the cities start to grow up. Boston, San Francisco, and so on. So. But the danger is that if sea levels rise, the city could be flooded. And this is not new knowledge. Even the ancients knew this. The idea of what was above and below sea level, right? So if you were inland, you knew you could be in a floodplain. If you were in a marshy area like, I don't know, Louisiana, and you build a city in a floodplain, probably not too wise, but it was nonetheless a harbor where ships could dock at port and trade. And so that overweighed the common sense of maybe we shouldn't build, in a place that's going to be flooded on a regular basis, right? Okay, I'm going to check out this Lindsey Sterling. I'll check this out. Uh, 400 degrees changes a lot. Okay. Let's see. Is this the girl that she played the violin? Yeah, that did a Star Wars melody playing the violin. I think I know who you're talking about. Okay, I'll look into her a little bit more. I should try the no sugar. I wish they still made the vanilla Coke no sugar, but that's what Torani syrup is for. You know what? I wouldn't even go with Torani syrup because, again, then you're adding sugar right back into it. I would just go with straight vanilla. Just go with straight vanilla, In fact, make your own vanilla extract. Make your own vanilla extract, either vodka or moonshine, straight, corn whiskey, as high a proof as possible, and you put it in a jar, and you just put a bunch of vanilla beans in it, let it pull out the vanilla flavor, and then just bloop into your soda. That's the way to go. Now that Man of War has retired, Sabaton is as close to Klingon music as we can get. Oh, now you're really talking my language. I'm going to really have to look into it. I'm off work today. Welcome, Tim. Good to see you, my friend. And Cleveland was just a mistake. Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. I don't like flavored Coke. Coke with grenadine is good. Yeah, I'm very much a purist. I used to get some of the flavored Cokes. No more. Now, if I'm going to do it, I do it myself. Because I know what I like. Somebody, don't clip that, please. Don't do that. I built a fantasy setting using a post-apocalyptic version of America on the map, thinking about remaking the setting with the newest rule set and using modern Photoshop to make the maps. Not a bad idea. I have done Photoshop maps of basically just Google Maps, and I've put in fictional places like Twin Peaks and such like that. Bunch of the Cthulhu mythos places on the East Coast and stuff like that. Just cause I'm a weirdo. East Canada becomes a large island. There you go. You're not a fan of the cherry float Coke? Yeah, I kind of think, you know what? If you're going to do that, make yourself a cherry Coke float. Real ice cream. That's the way to do it. Oh, feet, not degrees. Okay. I'm sorry. After Starfleet Academy, that's not what I think, but 400 feet. Yeah, 400 feet is a lot, but I'm not sure that's, well, I question the volume of water that they're anticipating, but it could be. It could be. I have used various bitters to flavor soda. It isn't bad. Yeah. If you try Angostura, just a few drops of Angostura in a Coke, not bad. Not bad. I worked half a shift, performed a quick wedding, then have the rest of the weekend off. There you go. That is awesome. Troy, you a weirdo? Say it isn't so. It's absolutely so. Ask Ned, she'll tell you. Arkham, Innsmouth, etc. Yeah, exactly. Spooky Chusets. Also places from the Stephen King stories. He uses both real and fictional locations. John Saul, another one. Some of the fictional places. I have done separately. I've done maps of the locations of different places in the DC universe, the world of DC. You know, where you redraw the Middle East to add Karak and stuff like that. 400 feet would pretty much sink New York and LA. Bring it on. Bring it on. Nothing wrong with being weird. I know. In fact, I'd say it's a virtue, in my opinion. Well, I did have something else up about rum and history, but we've actually kind of covered that pretty well. And we are about 10 minutes away from the top of the hour, and I do want to start winding it down because I want to get you all over to Corey's for Wilkie's Movies and Music. After that, of course, don't forget Big Al Presents as Films with Friends tonight at, I believe that is 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So make sure you check that out. And then hang out with Boomer and Netter and myself tonight for Last Call. Yeah, that is the plan for tonight. And much more of the Kraken. So, my friends, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and every day that you do. You guys really are the absolute best. I ask, as I always do, that you take care of yourselves, be healthy, get healthy, and stay healthy. Hydrate, hail hydration, which also will help you drink responsibly. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care, my friends.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. chasing that jazz under the high noon.